You know, throughout this entire thing, this entire pandemic as it were, the Jackbox company's been pretty alright. So one thing that they've been doing a lot is been live streaming their games on their YouTube channel. And the reason that's kind of cool is because the thing about Jackbox games is you don't really need to actually buy the game in order to play it. You just have to be there when somebody else is playing it. So they're essentially allowing for people who don't own their game to still play their game. And if you wanted the games for yourself, they're all on sale. And Drawful 2 is straight up free on their website for like a month. There's also the celebrities game night thing they do now at least once a week, which spreads awareness to a charity, and the company itself donates $100,000. So that's pretty cool. I might regret this later, because who knows, maybe they're all horrible people, but for right now, I think the company is doing some good stuff. And the games have been pretty helpful for me too. There was a point when this whole thing was, it was starting for everybody else, but it was maybe like I was 2 weeks in for me because my sister came back from Italy, so we quarantined ourselves at home. And then by the time that her quarantine ended, everybody else's began. So I've been stuck in my house since the end of February, something like that. But yeah, there was a good few weeks where I would spend my evenings just trolling around on Twitch, trying to find somebody that was playing Jackbox games. I ended up spending a lot of time with this one guy. That was a mistake. I think the gameplay from that's like on his YouTube channel. But I mean, he kind of ended up not being the greatest person in the world. But I mean, otherwise, like I said earlier, the official Jackbox YouTube has been streaming, and I've actually made it into quite a few of those. So I've definitely played with the community. I just thought it would be kind of fun to rank all the Jackbox games. I didn't script this. I have notes. I have notes for all the Jackbox games. I went through and did notes. I don't know. This video is just a mess. I'm more or less going to be going in order through the packs, because in case you don't know, there are 6 party packs. There's also a couple of games that are not in the party packs, but those will just be kind of shoved in whenever. I also have created a new category. This is just going to be for games that I cannot give an opinion on because I have not played. I know in the other video I said that I have played all of them multiple times. That was a lie. I mean, I wasn't trying to lie, I just kind of forgot. Alright, so the first one we're going to do is You Don't Know Jack from 2015. The thing about You Don't Know Jack is that it made the Jackbox games. So back in the 90s, You Don't Know Jack was a pretty popular trivia game. I think it even had its own TV game show at one point. But yeah, so this actually counts for a lot, is the fact that this game is very important to the franchise, and I think this game was also the selling point for the first party pack, because people really only knew this game. They didn't really know the other ones. Now, I haven't played the games that come before it, but I mean, I really like You Don't Know Jack 2015. Look, it's funny as shit sometimes. There's one early one where like Paul Rudd was supposed to show up and he didn't, and the host had just thrown a giant tantrum the entire time.
Next up, where the hell are you already?
I will say that if you don't know what you're expecting when you're going into it, it's like a fucking drug trip. I bought Party Pack 1 because I wanted Drawful, and we were going through all the games that were on it, and God, we were so fucking confused. But that is kind of like what the charm of the game is that it is just absurd. It's supposed to be absurd. It's supposed to be difficult for even people that are good at trivia, because they add this extra layer of having to interpret what are the questions even asking. So it kind of levels the playing field a little bit. The game isn't easy for anybody. Now, I'm not really going to be holding the fact that the earlier games do not have streaming, but only 4 players for this is just, that's not a lot. Which I do think is kind of a big deal, because this is the Jackbox Party Pack. I feel like if they had like put 2 more spaces, bumped it up to like 6. I know that the usual amount for these games is 8, but I feel like if they had even done like 6, it would have been better. But 4 is just not enough. And I guess there's also the fact that, and this is just a me thing, but I don't really like the Jack attacks in this one. I don't know what they're like in the previous games. This might be typical, but see, if I play by myself and I don't know a category, I just kind of sit there and don't do it and just watch it happen. and it's not really fun. This is arguably my cousin Joanna's favorite game. Hello, Joanna. Thank you for being loyal to this YouTube channel. But yeah, this one's her favorite just due to the fact that she likes the like little musical segments with the numbers.
With me, Disco 3.
But the thing is, I don't really know where I should, cause I'm gonna be honest, like we're not there yet, obviously, but you don't know Jackbox stream, in my opinion, does a few things better. Like to me, it's like an A minus B plus. So I mean, I know that this isn't typically how this shit works. This is gonna be a high B, I think. All right, next is Word Spud. I've given Word Spud some thought. There's no potato theming in Word Spud. You could potentially type the word potato, but it doesn't have potatoes in it. Why is it called Word Spud? Word Spud I actually do like. I know a lot of people do not. I like it. It is perhaps not a great game. In fact, I don't even know if I would say it's a good game. It's very, very slow. It's like the slowest game that's in this whole franchise. It's so fucking slow. Now, the reason I like it is because it's so fucking chill. It's like the chillest game that I've ever played in my entire life, but I can't really put it in a good spot because of that. So, I don't feel, I honestly, just because I like it so much, I do not feel comfortable putting it below a D. Like, I feel like there were other people that would put it as like F. I'm not. I am actively choosing to not do that. All right. So now we got Fibbage Extra Large, Fibbage 2, and Fibbage. We are going to cover the Fibbage games all at the same time because for the most part, they're pretty much the same. And Fibbage is fine. Fibbage is actually a very good game. So basically, Fibbage is a sort of fill-in-the-blank, trick-your-friends kind of game. Essentially, it gives you a fact, and you have to fill in the blank. And you could just put like a funny answer, but the point of the game is you want to trick everyone into thinking that your answer is actually the true fact. Fibbage is also the game that seems to introduce the whole phones as controller thing, so that's neat. And like, Fibbage was the first Jackbox game that I ever actually played. It's not the first one that got me interested in the franchise, but it's the first one that I actually played. And I definitely liked it. I still like it. I just don't really think that it's like as higher tier as a lot of the other games. Like whenever I think of Jackbox games, I don't think of Fibbage. That doesn't mean Fibbage is bad. Fibbage is great. I just don't think I'm going to be putting it like into the A or the S. But it does not deserve to go below a B. So that is where those are all going, is in B. However, since we're just gonna cover all the Fibbage games here, Fibbage Free is awesome. Fibbage Free is awesome. It's going into your A. I just generally like the aesthetic of Fibbage Free more. And there's also Fibbage About. And there's also, what the hell is it called? Fibbage Enough About You. It's basically Fibbage, but instead of it being like a fact, like a real life fact, it's basically facts about your friends. I actually really like Fibbage Enough About You. Whenever we open up Fibbage Free to play it, we always end up playing that other than the original version of Fibbage. So for that reason, it gets put in A. Ugh, okay, Lie Swatter. Do you like answering true or false questions, but with the added benefit of there being buzzing and bug guts and high-pitched voices? I don't really like Lie Swatter, is basically that review. The only thing it really has going for it, in my opinion, is the fact that up to 100 players can play it. I don't know, that's honestly fucking insane, and I don't even know how it would work with that many people, but yeah, I can't really say I'm a big fan of it. I guess if you are a streamer and the only pack you have is Party Pack 1, Lie Swatter is your best bet, but I do not like it, so we're gonna put it in E. All right, Drawful. Drawful is fucking great. If you've never played it, it's basically, you get a prompt, you have to draw it. Everybody else puts in what they think the drawing is, and then you guess what the actual title of the drawing is. Really, the main source of comedy in Drawful is just the fact that the art that you make with your friends, it's all gonna be shit. It doesn't matter if you're like the best artist in the world, you're drawing on a phone, you only got one color, there's no eraser tool, your art's gonna look like shit. This is the first Jackbox drawing game, I believe, and they did a really good job with it. I'm sort of in the same boat with You Don't Know Jack 2015, where it's like really, really good, but the sequel does improve on it in some ways, so I'm not super comfortable sticking it like high up. So, but I mean, in my mind, it's probably like gonna be like an E- or something. We're gonna just put it like here. That looks so fucking messy. We're gonna put it here. We're gonna do Drawful 2 right now. I was gonna wait till the halfway point to whip out Drawful 2. Where the hell is it? We're gonna do Drawful 2 right now. Okay, so Drawful 2 is basically Drawful, but it has audience participation and it has more than one color. This is how I would like rank it. Like Drawful 2 is not that much higher above Drawful, but it is higher. It's just a little higher, just a little bit. We're leaving it like this. I don't care how absolute shit that looks. We're leaving it like this. All right, Bidiots. We're moving on to Party Pack 2. I fucking love Bidiots, and I don't really have an accurate way to describe why. I also am very bad at Bidiots. I don't think I've ever won. I don't think I ever will. I am way too cheap. I do not like to spend money. I do not like to take risks. See, the thing about Bidiots is it's one of the more strategic Jackbox games, I guess you could say. You're basically at an auction. You draw a bunch of art. The prompts are all pretty similar to each other, so the art's all gonna kind of look the same, and then you have to bet on them. The game lets you know the price of 3 of the drawings, but you don't know what the titles are when they roll them out, so it's all pretty much a guessing game. And yeah, you do have to be strategic with it, and I know that turns people off. Like, I've been at parties or whatever, I'm like, I want to play Bidiots. And everyone else in the room is like, I don't like Bidiots, it's confusing. Grace, you have to leave now. And I really can't blame anyone for that. But, I mean, I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, even though I've never won. And it's honestly extremely well crafted. Everybody's on the same playing field. Nobody has an advantage over anybody else. You just kind of have to figure out how to play the game. And at that point, you're able to do whatever you want. You could potentially bid on your own art to raise the price, but that in and of itself comes with a risk, because if you end up being the one to buy it, you do not get any money. So yeah, it's just shit like that. It's like strategic shit like that, where you just kind of have to figure out what you can and can't do and then work with it. So I want to put Bidiots in the A category, which I think might be controversial, but I really like it. Next, Bomb Corp. I don't like Bomb Corp. Bomb Corp is not a bad game. I want to make that very clear. Not a bad game. Bomb Corp stresses me out so badly. I don't get any enjoyment out of playing it, is my thing. And I guess also to me, it just does not feel like a Jackbox game. Bomb Corp is basically keep talking and nobody blows up, except it's like more multiplayer, you know, you play on your phones. It's just, I'm putting it in D. I don't think it's bad. I would not put it below D. I don't like playing it. In fact, Bomb Corp is one of 3 Jackbox games where somebody in the room has said, oh, we should play this game. And then I responded, no, I don't like that one. And I think that pretty much counts for something. Speaking of games that I did not want to play, Earwax. Earwax is going in F. I'm not even going to beat around the bush there. Earwax is going in F. It's basically Cards Against Humanity, right? Except it's sounds. Like, instead of it being a card that says funny thing, you have to pick out sounds. And you don't get to hear the sounds before you pick them out. They almost always come out sounding different than what you were expecting. A lot of it just feels like really immature, which isn't to say that like Jackbox humor is like deep and mature or anything, but like, I don't know, I don't find fart jokes funny personally. And I mean, even if you do, I feel like it would get old pretty quick because, oh my god, this game just drags. Again, with the Cards Against Humanity comparison, see, the way that you win Cards Against Humanity is you win 7 rounds. In Earwax, you win 3 rounds, which, yeah, technically speaking, that really shouldn't be that bad. But it's really bad if you're playing with a lot of people. I remember when the Jackbox YouTube channel started doing the live streams, one time they did Earwax, and everybody in the chat like utterly lost their collective shit. People in the chat, I remember, were freaking out saying, give the win to somebody that has won 2 times already, just end it. The game just went on for a long time, and people in the chat were getting so fucking angry, and there was literally celebration when the game ended. I honestly didn't think to take like a screenshot of it because I was like, oh, like the video is gonna be there after they're done live streaming. I could just go back and like take screenshots then. They took down the video. I felt a little bad for whoever was running the live stream because, again, I think they were trying to do something nice, but they have not played Earwax since then. This is taking a very long time, which I should have fucking known because there's so many of these. This is why we're doing some of them at one, like all at once. Okay, Quiplash 2, Quiplash Extra Large. To me, when I think of Jackbox games, I think of Quiplash. And you know how I was just saying stuff about Cards Against Humanity? I think Quiplash is sort of like the next evolution of Cards Against Humanity. I personally think it's better. Now, I go back and forth on this because I do think that comedy does come out of limitations, and Cards Against Humanity, of course, has more limitations because you only have the cards to choose from. But I would argue that Cards Against Humanity gets really, really stale if you play it enough due to the fact that you start to get used to the cards. I started to get bored of it, personally. But Quiplash doesn't really get boring because every single time you play it, it's different. And every single time you play it with like a different group of people, it has a different feel to it. So yeah, anyways, I'm stacking them all in the B category. I don't really have a good reason for it. I guess just maybe in my mind, it's just that all the Quiplashes are just sort of the same, and despite the fact that they're like good, fun games, they're just games that I think are better. But Quiplash is great, and that's really all I gotta say. I keep saying games are great, and then I'm moving them into the B category. Listen, I know the B category's full already. TKO. Apparently people hate this game. I think that this game is fine. Okay, look, like this is a heavily flawed game, okay? Like the way that the T-shirts are presented, you get like the one that just won going against a brand new one. And that does sort of put the new one at an advantage because it's shocking because you haven't seen it before. I also do not like the way that ties are resolved, that the winner just goes to the streak, the T-shirt that has won previous rounds. I don't like that. Actually, kind of big problem with this game is the fact that you are completely reliant on other people. So if the people that you're playing with just kind of like phone it in, you don't really have a lot to work with. But in my experience, if you're playing with a group of people who are actually trying their best, then the game can actually be a lot of fun. I kind of like the whole like anime battle aesthetic thing that's going on. And also this is like the one drawing game that it actually gives you an undo button, which is awesome. But yeah, this is getting put into C. Alright, Trivia Murder Party. Trivia Murder Party is the game that got me into Jackbox. I watched GT Live play it, which arguably is a little embarrassing, but I just thought it was awesome. It's basically Saw is what it is. A serial killer kidnaps you and forces you to play his trivia game in order to escape. The theming is so on point. Just the fact that like pretty much all the punishments in the game, they're all based around the theme, like cutting your finger off, drinking poison, the loser wheel. I also like the way it's presented like a movie at the beginning. And then at the end, the 2 replay options are to either do a reboot or do a sequel. I will also say that the gameplay always feels really fresh. I don't know, usually like trivia games, it's just kind of question, 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 question. But in Trivia Murder Party, it's question, punishment, question, question, punishment, question, punishment. And because of that, it's different every time you play. The end is also pretty well crafted. Instead of it being straight up trivia, it basically gives you a category and you have to choose the things that are in that category. If you're still alive during this part, you only get 2 options to choose from, whereas the ghosts get 3. This is a huge advantage because they're able to move ahead more to catch up with you. However, the living player always moves first. So that means that if you're at the very end and there's only like 2 spaces left, the living player will always have the advantage. I don't know, that's really all I gotta say about it. I am mostly just here for the aesthetic personally. But Trivia Murder Party gets an A. Alright, Faking It. Faking It I have not played. I did try to play it once with my cousins. There was only 3 of us, and it just doesn't really work with 3 people. So we just kind of were like, yeah, no, I don't think so. It looks like it would be fun. Honestly, the second quarantine's over, I want to play Faking It, but I can't really give it a review right now, so it gets put into that category. Guess Speed Oz, which is a game that I like and nobody else does, or at least nobody else that I know. Most people just say Guess Speed Oz is literally you just pick statistics and that's it. And they're not wrong, but I like it. I don't really have a good reason as to why I like it. I just kind of think it's fun, even though this is the game that I'm worst at, except for maybe Bidiots. But I don't know what it is. I think I just don't understand like the human psyche. I always lose. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. It's really not like a special game or anything. It's okay. The only thing that I think is like really good about it is it has probably one of my favorite audience participation things. So the game is like you pick out what percentage of people like something or think a certain way. But if you have an audience of I think it's 20 or more people, it just polls the audience.
Oh God. Okay, wait, so how it's working, I think.
I'm sorry. That answer was closer than...
Yeah, they use you. You guys are the sample.
I think that's neat. I think that's a neat way of going about that. That's why it doesn't get any lower, because I don't know, I think that's clever and I like it. But yeah, it does not deserve to be any higher than C. Alright, so next up is Monster Seeking Monster. We're just gonna, fuck you, Joanne. Fuck you. Joanna absolutely hates this game. Joanna refuses to play it. Joanna's like, I don't get why you like this game so much. It's just chatting with people. No, it's not, Joanna. There is deep and complex gameplay in this game. Monster Seeking Monster is a hit and roll game where everybody gets assigned a monster, but you don't know what anybody else's monster is, so you have to date people while trying to sort of fulfill your needs in order to get the top spot. But everybody else around you is also trying to fulfill their needs. Some people, I believe, like the mummy or the witch, they are better off dating a lot of people. Whereas some characters, I believe the serial killer is better off just dating one over and over again. And honestly, like every little bit has sort of a certain layer to it, even when it comes to the monsters being revealed. Some monsters do not want to be revealed early. Like the witch and the mummy both need to date as many people as possible. So it's actually bad for them if they get revealed early.
I feel like it revealed that I was the mummy too early for me to possibly win this.
Undercut that strategy.
But the Vengeful Ghost has the ability to essentially blackmail people, and they can only really do that if they are revealed. It's just basically sort of like a strategy hidden role thing, and I think it's pretty well done. I'm not going to fault people for not liking this game unless they're Joanna, but yeah, I mean, it is a weird ass game. But I mean, I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. I like the music, I like the art style. I just think it works really, really well. All right, next, Civic Doodle. I don't really have a lot to say about Civic Doodle. It's just kind of alright. It's basically the game Exquisite Corpse, if you've ever played it as a kid. It's, you know, it's that thing where somebody draws something and then you pass it to another person and they keep adding to it and you pass it to another person. And it's fine. I don't really have a lot to say about it other than I'm not really big on like the host old man thing. I just kind of found it more annoying than I did charming.
That's right, Bethany.
That's not my name, sir.
And I guess sometimes it doesn't quite work. Like sometimes somebody might draw something like too big and it fills up the canvas, and you know, and then like the whole game is kind of screwed over at that point because you can't really add to it. That's happened on occasion. And of course, Civic Doodle has the whole drawing interface thing where you can see the players drawing in real time, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, otherwise I don't really have a lot to say about it. Civic Doodle is just kind of okay. So we're gonna put that into C. Bracketeering is also extremely middling. It's just not really as funny as other games. Okay, so the first time that you see like the answers that people put is funny, but then the answers just stay there and you just get to see them over and over again. It just kind of loses what it had the first time, you know? In later rounds though, it changes up the prompt with every bracket, and that gives the answers a whole new context every time you see them. That I think is good. That I think, had they implemented that throughout the whole game and then done other things in the later round, bracketeering would probably be better. I guess also I don't really like the host. He just kind of sounds like he's yelling random phrases that don't really have anything to do with what's going on.
My socks match my underwear.
But like, it's not a complete bust. If you're actively debating with people the whole time, it can be fun, especially if you have a bigger group. It does allow for 16 people, so I think it was probably designed for that. So yeah, bracketeering's like a C- or something like that, like here. Survive the Internet. I really like Survive the Internet. It does have sort of the same problem as TKO, where you're given something somebody else made and you have to make it work. However, unlike TKO, you're adding on to somebody's work. So even if somebody says something and it's kind of dumb and unfunny, you still have the ability to turn it around. So I think that's good. I think that's an improvement on that. The only thing I really gotta criticize it on, and I think it's like a huge flaw or anything, it's just like kind of funny. Like the voice acting, it doesn't sound like a voice actor. It sounds like you put a random intern in front of a microphone and told him to read off lines.
That's with 2 Ds, so keep an eye out for my friend request. Here's a quick tutorial before we start.
Which is kind of a shame, you know, you're making a game about the internet. Why don't you have somebody do like a YouTuber impersonation? Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to Survive the Internet. My name's Todd. Welcome to... Okay. Split the Room. The Twilight Zone game. I love the Twilight Zone. I was so excited when we opened this game up for the first time, and I was like, holy shit, this is the Twilight Zone. So basically, instead of most of the Everprompt games where you try to get the most votes, you actually want half the people in the room to say yes, and you want half the people in the room to say no. If everybody says yes or everybody says no, you get very few points. And you also want the choice to be difficult, because the longer it takes people to decide, the more points you're gonna get. And that's actually really interesting. But yeah, I mean, that's like really all I gotta say about Split the Room. It's just kind of like a really interesting game. I like the aesthetic, I like the cat, I like whenever he says roar.
Roar.
Split the Room gets a big fat A from me. Personally, hang on. We're gonna try to make this look neater. There we go. Split the Room gets a big A. All right, you don't know Jack full stream. Fuck you, Joanna, fuck you. Fuck you. Joanna doesn't like this one as much as she likes the 2015 one, and I disagree wholeheartedly. I think that full stream is weird. Okay, so when I played it for the first time, I was so confused about why the hell this was a streaming service. I thought maybe they were trying to like be like, oh, Black Mirror is cool with the kids. And I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, that's probably what it was. I think it is supposed to be like a Black Mirror kind of thing, which actually fits really well with Split the Room, which is supposed to be like a Twilight Zone kind of thing. But it does actually make sense for it to be a streaming service, because You Don't Know Jack traditionally takes place on like a TV studio, and how do people watch TV nowadays? On a streaming service. It makes sense. I think that You Don't Know Jack full stream improves on You Don't Know Jack 2015 in a few ways. One, the audience participation. There is audience participation now. The worse the audience does, the more money the actual players get if they get the answer right. There's also the fact that you could play with 8 players now, which is great. I actually like the aesthetic of the streaming service. Like, it was weird to me at first, but after I like played with it for a little while, I was like, no, I prefer this. Not that like the aesthetic of You Don't Know Jack 2015 was bad or anything. I just think that I prefer the sort of purple, and I like the sinisterness of the 2018 full stream, that I do kind of like the goofy polka music from the 2015 one. I also think that the Jack attack is handled better in this, because instead of it just being one thing that you watch flutter around, it's a list of things and you just choose off the correct one. I never sit there watching it. I always hit at least one thing. Oh, I mean, I guess if I wanted to bitch about it, the gibberish question is just... And I actually kind of don't like the this or that being everybody. I feel like the this or that goes really slow now, and as someone that's not really a big fan of the this or that portion, like, that's just kind of an eh for me. But again, those are just kind of small things. I really like full stream. Zeepeldome, let's go at an F. It is one of the other free games where I was like, I don't want to play this one, I don't like it. It's basically balloons. Has anyone ever played that game with like the monkey and the dart and you kind of shoot it? It's like that, but like not good, and I just didn't think it was very fun. I mean, maybe it would be fun if you're doing it on controllers, but I had a really hard time doing it on my phone. You know what? I'm gonna give the company credit that they tried to do, like, it was experimental. I just don't think that it worked. Patently Stupid. You can't even fucking see this logo. Shit. I really like Patently Stupid. I don't really know how much analysis I can do of it. It's just really fun. It's almost always funny. There's at least one funny thing in there. It gives you a lot of freedom. Like, you do have to do the problem that another person created, but you get to draw, you get to do the title, you get to do the tagline. You have so much freedom as to what you want to do. I like the hosts. I like the fact that they're like ex-husband, ex-wife, and sometimes, very, very rarely, they'll just start like throwing shade at each other.
Anyways, long story short, don't motion for me to wrap this up, Lena, okay? Don't give me that look.
The really big notable thing about this game is this game has an optional public speaking aspect to it, which I was personally kind of mortified at first. But first of all, it is optional. It's nice of them to give people who don't want to do it the option to not do it. Honestly, in my experience, the people who do the public speaking aspect tend to do better and actually get funding for their inventions. I honestly think that people subconsciously kind of appreciate the effort, and there's also just the fact that you have the option to just sort of play it up to like make your case instead of letting the computer do it. So yeah, I don't know, Patently Stupid's just delightful. I get a lot of joy out of it. So Patently Stupid is going into A. And now Madverse City. This game is both hilarious and cringy at the same time.
Everywhere I go, fans shower me with apples. This is a cry for help.
I think that this, for me, the game drags a bit. I think it's just the fact that it gives you like so much fucking time to write the raps, which I want to make it very clear, it's good that they do that because the raps take fucking ages to make. But I just think that it does sort of add up after a while, and after like the second round, I'm fucking done. I think that the text-to-speech is actually pretty good. The fact that they were just like able to implement that, and I don't think I've ever really seen it struggle. I've put smiley faces into my rap before, and it says like smile, like it's able to recognize that.
Which is understandable. Knives are dangerous. Frown.
I also really like the aesthetic of it. I like how 90s it is, and I like the designs of the robots, how they're based off 90s technology. I like the Tamagotchi one, it's really cute. But I don't know, it's just kind of like a middling one for me. It's an okay game. I know people who absolutely fucking hate it and never want to play it again, and I'm kind of in the middle boat there. It's just not one that I'm huge on. So I think I'm gonna put it in C. Okay, what's next? Joke Boat. So Joke Boat is kind of not good. It's basically like Madverse City, but instead of making raps, you make jokes. However, Madverse City gives you so much freedom, and Joke Boat does not. Madverse City lets you write entire lines of your rap, but Joke Boat has these very rigid formats that are very difficult to work around. You are absolutely limited to what other people wrote before you. It's just so hard to make a good joke out of it. I don't think I've ever played like a good round of it, and I've really only played it a couple times, but every single time it was just painful. I just don't think it's a good game. I feel like there's a good game in there somewhere. I feel like if they had given the player way more freedom to make a joke, it would have worked like a million times better. It's just as it is, it's just, I don't think it works. So yeah, the Joke Boat's getting put into E, I guess. Role models. I fucking hate role models. Which isn't really to say that the game is bad. The game's fine. The game's pretty good. I hate it because the people I was playing with said I was Count Chocula.
I have no way of knowing how you feel about this.
Fuck everybody. It's a game that's basically created to roast your friends, and I do like roasting my friends, but I actually do find it like legitimately confusing. I, honest to God, do not know where the science pellets are coming from. I always lose, which sometimes factors into my decision here, but it just seems like they're just giving people science pellets randomly. I don't know, maybe they didn't explain it right, maybe I'm just dumb, I don't know. That's my big critique of role models. I have no idea what's ever happening in role models, but otherwise it's just kind of alright. So role models is getting a C. Alright, so push the button. Push the Button is such a good game. I I do want to make that very clear as I'm about to stumble through this. It's basically Secret Hitler in space. You are an astronaut, 2 or 3 other players are aliens. You have to figure out who the aliens are before time runs out. You have a ticking clock above you the entire time, and that encourages you to hurry up. But by hurrying up and speeding up, you're missing out on like discussions. You might miss out on important little details about who's the alien, who's not. There's also the fact that the aliens get hacks later on, so they're able to hack over players, or they could hack themselves. If they hack over players, they're framing the players, they're making the other innocent players look like aliens, but if they hack themselves, they make themselves look innocent. We, and meaning the people, me and the people I've played with, never got the bioscanner to work. I think it's because we're idiots, because literally everybody else that's ever played this goddamn game, I've watched a couple people play it, they got the bioscanner to work, but even the bioscanner has like a lot of complexity to it. You know, you have to choose 2 people who you don't think are aliens in order to choose the correct symbols that you're reading off. But if they fail, does that mean that one of them is aliens? Does that mean that the person reading them off was an alien and set them up to fail? Or does it just mean that everybody's a goddamn dumbass? There's also the fact that if it does work, okay, so maybe the 2 people who did it aren't aliens, or maybe they are. I mean, maybe they have a motive for wanting the bioscanner to work, because, you know, the person who's capped at the time, who's running the bioscanner, might be an alien, and they might be trying to frame somebody.
Alien.
Yes.
Okay.
Clayton, this is the only time in my entire life I have known you are lying.
The only thing I have against this game is that it isn't exactly balanced very well. It's skewed very much in the aliens' favor. It can feel extremely unfair if the aliens win pretty much every time you play. I guess I'd argue that the aliens still do have some limitations though. I mean, they only get 2 hacks each, and once the hacks are gone, they're extremely vulnerable. So that's why it doesn't bother me personally, and why I still consider this to be one of the best Jackbox games. So it's going right into S. Next up is Dictionarium, which I'm gonna be honest, I forget this game exists a lot. It's forgettable and it's short. It's so short. You go through that so fucking fast. It's fun otherwise. Like, you get to make up words and shit. Like, that's great. And I've definitely had moments in it where it was just hilarious. It's just, I forget this one exists. Again, really, that's the only thing I gotta say about it. I forget that it exists and it's short. Dictionarium is getting put into C. It's like lower C. It's like C-. And last but not least, Trivia Murder Party 2. Trivia Murder Party 2 is basically Trivia Murder Party, but they improve it in a lot of small ways. The audience participation is better. There was audience participation in the original Trivia Murder Party, but this time around the audience is actually able to win the game, which is kind of awesome.
Oh, chat wins!
Chat wins!
Rude.
Nice!
God.
I like the murder hotel. I like the fact that they gave like the killer lore for some reason. The whole game is just insane. All like the punishments are 10 times more insane. They're just ridiculous. The only real issues I have with Trivia Murder Party 2 is just some like technical ones, because I was streaming with that guy and I noticed pretty quickly that the mirrored one and the phone one don't really work with a delay. And otherwise, I guess this one's just like a personal one for me, because my phone is 6 years old, but the phone one and the sword one do not work on my phone. Yeah, so that fucking sucks for me. Everybody thought I didn't know what a rotary phone was.
I answered it because I know what a rotary phone is.
I mean, those are just small things. One of them is my own fault because I refused to buy a new phone. But yeah, so Trivia Murder Party 2, it goes in S. And there we go. Like, look at this. It's a fucking mess, isn't it? I'm pretty happy with this though. I think the fact that most of the games kind of go towards like the very top of it, I think that says a lot. That's really all I gotta say is those were all my reviews of the Jackbox games. Maybe someday in the future I'll do it for like the new pack for the for 7, and also hopefully I'll be able to do Faking It 2 at the same time. I mean, I don't actually know if I'm going to, considering the fucking state of the world right now. Listen, I've had a bad couple of days, so I'm glad I was able to sit in front of a camera and fucking talk about something I like for a little while. But yeah, I guess like and subscribe if you agree with my opinions. Fuck you, Joanna. Thank you for sponsoring this video because I don't own all the party packs, but you do. Alright, anyway, bye.